All right, good morning, everybody. Still kind of fighting the sore throat a little bit, but yesterday was what some would consider just total chaos or carnage in the world of cryptocurrency. Pretty much everything took a beating yesterday, but if you actually look at it from the beginning, even from the beginning of this year, everything is still way up beyond any sort of financial instrument you could potentially put your money in. So although yesterday and the past few days have been chaotic, it's normal. That's just what happens in the world of cryptocurrency. You need to understand that this is just kind of like the new world, and this is what happens with these things. When you see these giant dips like this, it's an opportunity to buy. The question becomes, at what point do you buy, and can you get the best discount at a certain rate. So hey Corey, what's up? So people are asking me like, hey, how do you follow it? Well, there are things like on Coinbase it wasn't really working so well. There are things on Coinbase alerts, but I'm also on their GDAX platform. I'm also on Binance, and I'm just watching this stuff. So last night during this chaos, I can't sleep just because I'm so excited. But I was up and I was making some strategic buys because it was a great opportunity to buy. And here's a couple things. Okay, there's been some negative news. There's been a couple hacks. People have gotten upset, and I'll give you some other reasons why Bitcoin in particular was getting beat up a little bit. When the big financial investors start to get involved, they're looking at things a lot more closely, a lot more analytically than I think someone even like me would look at Bitcoin. And here's one of the big challenges with Bitcoin, but long term, I don't think it's an issue, but is the speed and the fees in which transactions happen with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is so big, and it's just becoming a problem. Like transactions are essentially taking minutes where they should take seconds. And Bitcoin's blockchain is more kind of set up and designed for larger transactions, not the what we call micro transactions. That is not a 5% more plug. It's just what they call them. These micro transactions, like going ahead and buying at Starbucks. Okay, so Bitcoin is not really perfect for that, and there's been some dissension amongst the ranks of Bitcoin programmers, and there always has been over the years about what to do and how to fix that, right? And there's been a philosophical debate amongst the people that are essentially controlling the software side of things, for lack of a better term. And so recently, actually not recently, it's been going on for a few years, they've been working on potentially an update. When I say they, it's not necessarily the original core programmers of Bitcoin. There are other groups and organizations out there that are working on making Bitcoin better and making it set up so that those microtransactions can happen. It's called the Lightning Network. Okay, you can take a look at it, the Lightning Network for Bitcoin. Once that happens, it will pretty much secure Bitcoin's place in history as the top dog, so to speak. It'll probably happen in 2018, early 2018, if I had to guess. The testing and beta testing has already started to happen. They've made transactions, microtransactions, and they've worked just fine as of now. So once that happens and you're able to, then essentially buy a Starbucks coffee with your Bitcoin, then the utility is going to be that much greater. See, people are complaining because the fees of sending $10 or $1 million have been the same, depending on which network you're on, and they've been increasing over time, and that's been a problem. See, Bitcoin is also a great store of value, for people. So, but a lot of these cryptocurrencies that are out there, including Bitcoin, really you want to have a store of value, and you also want to have utility, right? And so those are kind of the big overarching themes, and obviously, the futures trading out there. Take a look at what's going on with some of the Bitcoin billionaires. There's some interesting stuff going on with the Bitcoin billionaires where they don't want to sell their Bitcoin because they know what could happen. And what they're doing is they are actually getting into the futures market and betting for Bitcoin. There's been some big futures bets put out there by some of the Bitcoin billionaires saying that it's going to hit 50,000. And they're doing that for a whole host of reasons, right? To support even their own stake in Bitcoin. But if it happens, they will win even bigger than they've ever won before. So it's an interesting way for Bitcoin billionaires, Bitcoin millionaires to make additional income without selling their Bitcoin. So take a look at that, what's going on out there. And then, you have, the CEO of Litecoin out there saying how he dumped his Litecoin, and people are freaking out about that. But if you understand why he dumped his Bitcoin, to me, I think it actually makes a lot of sense. He's a pretty vocal guy. He goes out and says a lot of things that might piss people off and might give people the wrong idea. So he dumped all of his cryptocurrency, and that's what he says, at least. By the way, you could go in the blockchain if he wanted to show us that. You could go on the blockchain and verify that. So he dumped his Litecoin, claims he dumped everything else that he owns as well, donated it, and by the way, at that rate, it was a 7,000% return on his investment. So that kind of freaked people out. He also said if you can't handle Bitcoin going to $20, then don't buy. If you can't handle Litecoin going to $20, then don't buy it. That freaked some people out. And he says some things that are, not traditional. In the sense of like a CEO of a publicly traded company, which they're not, would never say anything like that, right? That stuff doesn't happen in the finance world. So these guys that are out there, they're not CEOs of publicly traded companies, so they say things that it just is they don't have a filter, okay? And they probably have never gone through any sort of media training. And so that creates a little bit of instability and a little bit of chaos because we're not used to, essentially a software engineer or a programmer just getting out in the public and just saying things without any sort of really thought about the psychology of what they've said. So that's just the world that we're in. And then here's another thing. It's 3 days before Christmas, okay? So a lot of people are, worried, and they don't want they're cashing out, they're buying things, and they're turning it into a fiat currency. In other words, they're turning it into the US dollar. So that's also a big part of it. And then again, you're starting to see major trading platforms now offering cryptocurrencies, which is a great thing. Okay, it's a great thing. It's just, in the beginning, people get a little nervous and money starts to move around and money starts to leave. It's just kind of is what it is. If you follow cryptocurrency, again, like I have, since I think I started in maybe August or so, I really started looking at it. These dips, okay, they're very, very common. They are unsettling. I get it. They're unsettling. But I really wouldn't worry too much about it. If you're in this, you should really be in this for the long haul. If you're trading, okay, if you're on like GDAX, if you're on Poloniex, if you're on Binance, if you're on Bitstamp, whatever trading platform you're on, it's such a fun time to be trading. You just need to make sure you catch it at the right time, and there are ways to do that, and I can actually even show people how to do that. I started trading a while ago as well. I haven't lost. I've won every single time. Every time, and I can show people how to do that. And by the way, we are going to be showing people that on our infomercial that we're shooting in a few days, just after Christmas. So don't worry. Last night was definitely a buying opportunity. I hope for those of you that if you had the ability to do it, I wish I had a shit ton more cash sitting in a bank account because I would have went fucking huge on buying stuff. I definitely increased my position on Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and also, here's another thing, it's a great time to be mining. Great time to be mining. The price, in a way, almost doesn't matter. If the machines are paid for, the price doesn't matter as long as it's profitable on a daily basis. And people say, oh, well, the electricity and all these other things. Yeah, there are costs involved in business. That's just the way it is. As long as the delta is the way you want it to be. In other words, if you're not in the red and you're in the black, you're good to go, man. That's just life. I've been in businesses, and even my existing business, we lose money all the time, especially short term. In the mining situation, you're not losing money. We're mining Litecoin, we're mining Bitcoin Cash, and for those of you who got involved with the Bitcoin, We also have Bitcoin Cash, and so if you got in on a larger scale from the fractional level and kind of took positions in some of our actual individual machines, I believe I sent an email to most of you. We can switch depending on how many people are sitting on your machine. We need some sort of consensus. We can switch to Bitcoin Cash. The past few days, because of the volatility of Bitcoin, we've been mining only Bitcoin Cash, and it's about the same, maybe a little bit better. As far as profitability, so a lot of versatility there as well in the mining scenario. So anyway, that's my update. Pay attention. That's really kind of the overarching theme of this. Is I need you to pay attention and just watch what's going on. There are all sorts of tools that you can use to watch, and you will be good to go. So. It is cold, obviously, here in Beverly, Massachusetts. Starting to snow a little bit. I'll probably be posting, prior to Christmas. But have a great holiday if I don't. And just pay attention, man. Just pay attention. Have a good one.